This new anime series, Bye Bye Earth, caught my attention, and it's about 10 episodes in at the time of this recording. Have you seen it?
I'm caught up. My girl Belle LeBlack is a fierce warrior with that sword Runding, especially in that first scene where she slays the Leviathan at the lake.
That was a great way to introduce the main characters. So the show is set in a fantasy world where Belle is the only human without animal features. Everyone else is some kind of anthropomorphic humanoid, and they often refer to Belle as being featureless because she has no animal traits. As far as I can tell from the show, it's not an isekai, since we have been talking about a lot of isekai shows in recent weeks.
Yeah, the show is straightforward fantasy, but the lore keeps getting bigger and bigger as Belle goes on this quest to find out more about her origins.
Well, she starts off with her teacher, Sion, and later meets other characters like Adonis, Gaff, and the rabbit character, Kitty the Owl. It all feels really bizarre because usually there's very clear principles or guidelines to how a fantasy world works from the beginning. Maybe I'm missing it, but I'm not able to fully grasp how this world works in Bye Bye Earth, but I keep wanting to watch to find out.
Me too, but it's Belle's story that keeps me hooked in. She's an outcast, and I can totally relate to feeling like that.
Probably many of us do, to be honest, at different times in our lives. There are plenty of stories about outcasts because dramatically it makes us want to empathize with a character who doesn't fit in for whatever reason. That's relatable within the scope of human experience. I think that speaks a lot to a common desire to want to belong to something bigger than ourselves. Belle is trying to find out more about her origins, which seems tied to understanding her purpose.
Do you think the show can deliver a satisfying payoff to that?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Like I said earlier, we haven't seen the whole show and we don't know how it's going to end. But I think we like Belle because we also vicariously live through her and the dramatic events of the show. She's not satisfied with staying where she's at in life. She's gone on the hero's journey to venture beyond the world she knows, and I think we all want to do that in some way in our own lives. We want to find out where we came from because that gives us some sense of what our lives should be about and our purpose.
Belle goes through a lot of difficult challenges even in these first 10 episodes. I remember there was one ballroom scene where she's dancing with another character, and I don't remember his name, but they seem to be talking about what it means to be free. And it seemed kind of depressing.
I'm trying to remember that scene as well. I think the character was talking about not having things to restrict you or hold you down and to be free of obligations. But it sort of gets close to the territory of thinking about if our purpose is really meant to be free. For example, is freedom just the ability to do whatever we want or whatever we want? Or is freedom meaningful when it is within a set of boundaries?
Whoa, okay, I never thought about freedom that way. I usually think it's about being able to do whatever you want to do, as long as you're not hurting someone else.
That's a noble idea, but then we have to define what it means to hurt someone else, which gets us into defining the values of what is good and what is bad. We're back to considering moral standards within a society.
This feels like one can of worms opening up another can of worms.
Which isn't a bad thing when we're just talking it through and trying to think critically. That's why stories are so powerful, because we can go beyond just consuming them as media, but actually thinking deeply about them and wrestle with the things that correspond to our real lives.
I'm gonna have to take more time to think about what freedom is, and also what is an example of good freedom.
We have all the time in the world to consider it. That's why the space is good for working out these kind of things with the help of an anime series.
What a world we live in.